Black smoke rose above the marshes. Thorgan's eyes followed the plumes down to the horizon, where his town stood. It was hard to run through the waterlogged ground and mud, coating his boots. He had to press on. His brother was back at Broken Helm, and this was no simple fire. Welcome to Bleeding Iron Episode 1, where I alone will be playing the Ironsworn system. I'll be taking Thorgan Bearmark, my character, through an epic saga, hopefully.
If we don't die.
I have fleshed out the world on my own. If you would like to see what it is about, you can check it out in the description below, or watch it alongside of other people and find out bit by bit. So let's get into it. Thorgan emerges from the marsh, this hilly place, and sees Broken Helm on fire. He sees the smoke rising, and he's in shock and panic. The small town that he has spent several years in is completely destroyed, and there are no ships visible, and he doesn't see any attackers. He begins to run down with his, dirty boots, spear to his side, covered in a fancy fur coat, looking well off compared to other people on the Ironlands, which are harsh and deadly. By his side, we see Kynan, his trusty hound that helps him hunt and find his way. When we finally reach the town, Thorgan sees dead people, some cut in half, slit bellies, or even put on pikes. The scene looks gruesome, and you wouldn't expect this from typical raiders. He has to keep on moving. On his mind, Bruss, his brother, is of most importance, and I think he will try to find the town hall. We go to the end of town, which is kind of located on this intersection of where the basin and not river but pond meets the ocean, and at this corner we see a barricaded but standing town hall, and we bang on the door. Is anyone inside? Is anyone alive? Bruss, are you there? Let's gather information. This will be our first roll of the game, and Ironsworn works with moves. We have action dice and we have challenge dice, and we have to beat the score that is given to us. We are rolling with wits, and we're not getting a modifier since we have a bond with our brother, but we don't know if he's there, so we leave it up to fate. A weak hit. So what happens? On a weak hit, the information complicates your quest or introduces a new danger. Envision what you discover and ask the oracle and take +1 momentum. Oh great, we have momentum, that's good. And we ask the oracle. First idea that goes into my mind is, I think Bruss, our younger brother, is not there. And I think it is likely. Yes, he's not there. So we get a response from maybe a young voice. Bruss is not there. Is that you, Thorgan? And after a few seconds of chit-chatting and talking, the doors open up, these heavy doors he sees as furniture is being moved away from the door. And as Thorgan enters the dark and gloomy town hall, he sees women, children, a few of the militia and free wardens that guard Broken Helm on their own accord. But he doesn't see Bruss. What happened here? He looks at the boy who was guarding the door, at the free wardens. I think this will be just a gather information again. Let's roll wits, and we'll add +1, because this is a town we've spent time in and we have a bond with. It is a miss. On a miss, your investigation unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. Pay the price. What is the price? A person or community you care about is exposed to danger. I mean, that just aligns with my idea. I think Bruss, they tell me that he shepherded everyone into the town hall. He gathered everyone. He went through the streets running, saying for people to flee, fighting off these mad raiders. And he himself was held up at the front while everyone, barricaded and went in, and they just heard fighting noises, shouts, and then him being dragged away as he struggled, which isn't unusual for raiders. They usually take people to sell off or take into slavery for them or to sell, but this is especially dangerous because the people think these aren't usual raiders. These seem to be some sort of zealous raiders. Let's roll on some themes. Desolation and warning. So these zealous raiders came in proclaiming some sort of end of the world, of the Ironlands, and they have come to collect debt for the land, to appease the creatures that lurk and are about to emerge, at least on their record. How did these creatures look like? Not creatures, these raiders, what were their theme? They were brave, okay. Bravery and stupidity go hand in hand. Conceited, no idea what that word means. As we ask around, we hear Thorgan's dog walking around in the town hall. Talented, doesn't help. Stubborn, not the roles we want, I think. Okay, so I rolled wealthy and the boar. So maybe they were tattooed in animalistic tattoos, or even war painted themselves to look like boars on the face, but they weren't just some wild barbarians. No, these were tactical, well-dressed, well-armed people, but just so demented and zealous in their ideas and beliefs that they are just brutal. What is this group's name? Mitunu. The Matan? That sounds a bit better. The Matan. Let me write it down. So this group, the Matan, have come into the town and they have raided, pillaged, stolen not only wealth, but also Bros, Thorgan's younger brother. And Thorgan, although they have a tense relationship with his brother, he will not let that fly. He is family. And after his father's death, family has to stick together. With that, I think we will swear our first iron vow. So these vow work in a way of like quests that give us XP. We vow ourselves to complete it, and with that, our adventure begins. This is our first quest, so I will mark it as dangerous. And the goal is to return with Bros. But before we undertake a journey, we have to roll to see if our vow is fulfilling enough, if nothing goes wrong, and so on. So we're rolling with heart, which we're really good at. Is it a good complication? Oh, it is not a good complication. That is not good. So a complication means that challenge dice match and our, action score either surpasses or hits below. In this case, we hit below, so something really bad happens. On a miss, you face a significant obstacle before you begin your quest. Envision what stands in your way. And we have to choose one. Suffer to momentum or forsake your vow. Well, naturally, we'll suffer the momentum, which means, it slows us down, whatever we encounter. I think as these Matan raiders came in, they demolished a lot of the town, they wrecked. No surprise, they came by boats. As they left, they destroyed the boats that Broken Helm had, so no one would follow them. And that's our problem. We don't have a way to follow them by sea, and that will slow us down massively. Thorgan sighs, puts the spear up to his forearm, cuts it lightly next to a few other scars that still remain from previous vows, looks at Kainen, his faithful dog, pets him on the head. Guess we're going by land, buddy. And he looks up into the sea. I swear, Bruss, I will get you back. And with that, we will undertake our journey. I will create a progress track. Let's make it dangerous, same as the quest. Every successful roll that we get from this journey, we tick off 2 successes. Preferably, we would need 5 successful checks to find Matan or maybe find Bruss. We don't know how this will go. But first things first, let's not run ahead. We need to undertake a journey. Good thing is that Thorgan, for the better part of his life, traveled a lot. Therefore, he has an asset called Wayfinder, which when you undertake a journey, take +1 momentum on a strong hit. If you burn momentum to improve your results, that doesn't matter. What matters is we are proficient in traveling, and we can speed our journey up. So let's undertake that journey. We will use our wits. We will use a modifier of 1 because we have a bond with Broken Helm. It is a miss. We are not lucky today, boys and gals. On a miss, you're waylaid by a perilous event. Pay the price. Let's see what we pay. It is stressful. Okay, so we set out kind of westward, going along the shore. And the first day, the weather is horrible. It is raining, it is windy, especially sticking next to the shore, which slows us down, which buffets us, which hurts us. It burns us! Tires us out, not physically, but mentally as well, because we know with every fleeting second, it is less and less of a chance that Bros will survive. And I think we will take spirit damage down to 4. And with that, we need to make a suffer move, which is called Endure Stress. When you face mental shock or despair, suffer spirit equal to your foe's rank or appropriate to the situation. If your spirit is 0, go on and go on. So we need to roll for stress, I believe, on a dangerous mission. Let me check how much stress we take. Doesn't say here, but for now we'll go with 1 stress. Let's roll with... our spirit is higher at this point. Let's roll with spirit. No modifier, I believe, for us. Come on. A weak hit. I'll take it. We press on. We don't gain anything. We don't lose anything. It's just exhausting. And by the end of the day, we find a small kind of nook in this more cliff side of a shore where we manage to go in under these tall eroded cliffs. We set up a small campfire and we rest. As we sit there under the eroded white stone and sand cliffs, we look into the fire with Kainen curled up by our side. We hear the fire crackling, the ocean approaching and retreating with each wave, the stars shining in this cold but beautiful night sky. And we think of Brus and our father. We look at the spear that our father gave us on his deathbed, telling us, Thorgan, to finish the vow and return the spear, break the family curse. It wasn't even a tell, it was more of a command. Thorgan didn't want to do it. He doesn't really believe in this family curse. It is as powerful as much as you give it meaning. But father didn't want to listen to Thorgan, and he made Thorgan swear the vow. Thorgan then remembers getting into arguments with his younger brother after his father's death. Bros believed he was worthy of finishing the vow. He believed in the curse. He took care of Bros when Thorgan was mucking around, hunting, going out in town. And Thorgan just thinks to himself, what if it was Bros who was assigned this vow? Maybe everything would have flipped. Maybe Thorgan would have been captured. And he thinks it over and curls up next to the fire with Kainen and goes to sleep. So we will make camp roll with our supplies, no modifiers. It is a strong hit. That is very good. On a strong hit, you and your allies may each choose 2. Great. So I'll take 1 spirit, back up to 5, and +1 momentum. So we're back up to 2. Of course, we could have taken a +1 to your undertaking of journey, but I think momentum is a bit more important in this situation. So let's continue our journey. I have marked 2 progress on our progress track on the journey. Let's see if we can reach a waypoint without any problems this time. No modifiers. It is a weak hit. Not a miss though. On a weak hit, you reach a waypoint and mark progress, but suffer 1 minus supply. Okay, we are down to +4 supply, but we do mark progress. And this time, it doesn't take a day. It just takes getting off the kind of shores and up to the, as the Ironlanders call it, the rock beach. Just a flat plain and an expanse of gravel, sand, and boulders, which isn't really habitable, but it is better than walking on sand and near the ocean, and you have better visibility there. But to do that, Thorgan, he has to climb one of the cliffs, because the shore side ends, and he has to climb this cliff to get on the stone beach. And he begins to climb. He has to carry Kynan at the same time. He isn't a goat. He can't climb this cliff. And as Kynan, he goes along. He's a good boy. He's used to traveling and sometimes even being carried, but he still struggles. He's a bigger hound. So Thorgan kind of curses, stay still, as they're climbing. And at one point he doesn't hold his balance, and Thorgan slips with one hand. Thankfully, he catches Kynan. Kynan doesn't suffer. Our boy. But some of the backpack, kind of one of the straps loosens and zips back and stops at the end. But the pack, it opens up and some of the supplies fall out into the ocean below and are washed away. And so we lose supplies. But we get on this cliff. We are now in a more open position and we can see further out, detect dangers, take shelter, and plan our further journey. Let's undertake another journey. With wits. Come on, strong hit. We need momentum. Come on. Yeah, strong hit. On a strong hit, you reach a waypoint. If the waypoint is unknown to you, envision it, then choose one. You make good use of your resources, mark progress, or you move at speed, mark progress, and take +1 momentum, but suffer -1 supply. So I will suffer some supplies, take momentum, and mark progress. So we are 6 out of 10. We're past the halfway point. We travel for the better part of the day through the stone beach, kind of walking, trying not to spray our ankles, with Kynan running about the boulders, sniffing the air for any bears, yeah, crack a cold one, for any bears or any other danger, or even maybe a rabbit that they could eat later on. And in the distance, Thorgan sees something. Let's see what he sees. Location table. A cave. Okay. What is this cave like? Savage. Thorgan sees this a larger shape in the distance, almost like a hill on this flat plain, and thinks to himself, this would be a good place to hunker down for the evening, because the day is coming to a close and he doesn't know if he will find any good places to settle down for the night. And a cave is a good place to preserve heat, to take shelter from rain and wind. And as he approaches, he sees the cave is somewhat lived in, but not humans, some sort of animal. He sees scratch marks, bones, pieces of some sort of organic material, and the cave extends deeper. It turns pitch black. Thorgan turns to Kynan. What do you think, buddy? Should we spend the night here? Kynan doesn't seem to be bothered. He's wiggling our tail. He's wiggling his tail. So we'll take that as a positive sign. Maybe the animal has long abandoned the cave, or maybe he's dead. Who knows? So with a somewhat anxious atmosphere, Thorgan and Kynan settle down, light a fire, and make camp. Thorgan will go hunting. He will make a fire, he will sleep for a few hours here, but he will press on, because this is the end of a second day, and the longer he waits, the more chances are that Pross is dead, and we can't have that. So we will roll with our wits. A strong hit, very good. On a strong hit, you bolster your resources, you take +2 supply, so we're back up to full. Maybe we catch a few rabbits in these stone plains. We find some old moss in this cave that we could actually boil or, eat in some sort of way while prepped. I also remembered we take +1 momentum for a strong hit on a undertake journey move since we are a wayfinder. So we're up to +1, +4, which is very good. And after sleeping for a few hours, hunting some food, cooking a rabbit over the fire, enjoying it with Kainen, who stares at us every second with those big doggy eyes while we eat, we set off. A weak hit. On a weak hit, you reach a waypoint and mark progress, but suffer -1 supply. So I think we kind of have traveled from Broken Helm in this direction, and we have almost passed this small southern tail. And the next day is again very harsh in weather. We try to traverse, and it's hard. The stone beach becomes almost pure grounded down stone. It's not sand or gravel. It's all uneven. It's hard to travel. We're having to constantly look out for small dips and holes so not to fall into. We have to use rope, wood, additional supplies to kind of make small bridges, passageways, or even support things that we are not certain of that could collapse on us, like small passageways, as the terrain begins to form into more kind of a hilly situation, just from a flat plain. And as we leave the stone plains, the stone beach, into a more hilly side, we crest over this hill into this like a stone passage full of boulders and stones. We see the plains below, now dotted with shrubbery, a tree here and there, and we see a single settlement or outpost. Well, let's not jump the gun. Let's see if we can conclude our journey, because I kind of jumped the gun here. Oh, so we finish our journey with an opportunity, which gives us something extra, something really good happens. So I think we have to definitely mark 2 progress on returning with Bros, our vow, because although Thorgan might not know it yet, he has stumbled onto the Matan something. Let's roll to see what it is. They might be living in a cave or a wrecked ship, who knows? They might be really aesthetic about it. A ruin. Okay, so yeah, they've set up in this ruin. We see next to the sea a small fleet of boats, rowing boats, ships, and a ruin that is semi-repaired. And it's not... let's roll for descriptor. It's a corrupted ruin. Let's see what it's like. So alongside corruption, it is exposed, and the name could be a creature. Why have the people of the settlement chosen this creature as their totem? Okay, so maybe it was called something else at first, but now it has been renamed. So this ruin is by the sea. It is corrupted. It is exposed. To my mind comes a ruin that is just offshore in the sea. It was once connected to the beach, and it was a firstborn, an outpost. Nobody knows what it was. It wasn't a full town, but some sort of building, almost like a castle with a single tower. But now everything has collapsed. The sea has taken over a lot. It's covered with mollusks. Yeah, mollusks. That's a new word. With sea fauna and flora. And it's kind of sticking out like a broken sea crown out of the sea, and it's just off the shore. And it is called Black Brook. Boarbrook sounds nice. So let's mark Boarbrook right off the coast, and maybe for the coolness of it, it doesn't have the A, so it's Boarbrook, and you can't really read because all the runic letters look the same. Boarbrook. Thorgan kneels down, watching from this high up shore cliff. It's now lightly covered in grass, so he can kneel down and feel the soft grass and wind buffeting his face. He looks at Boarbrook. He sees the ships in there, and he does see small people walking about. But what do we do? Shit, we'll have to swim. And yeah, Thorgan curses. I think the plan is we have to swim offshore towards Borbrook. It's not far away. It isn't. It was once connected by a bridge. But it will be cold and it will be hard. Night is approaching. We're on the third day of looking for Bros and the Matan. So we will wait for evening to come to cover us. And we will try to get onto Borbrook. We'll have to secure an advantage. How do we do that? Shadow would be the first idea that comes to my mind, but Thorgan isn't really good with his shadow. He's not really stealthy, he's more hardy, talkative, and strong. His edge isn't the best as well. Could we do something with iron or wit? Not really, we're far away. Although swimming takes a lot of strength. So I will give myself this and we will roll with iron. As the evening approaches, we tell Kynan to stay. We're not taking him on. We're telling him to guard our backpack. Yeah, we're leaving the backpack on shore. We're telling him to hide and stay. Kynan, you get it? Stay. Stay. We take the spear and we approach the shore. We begin to walk into the water. It's cold. Our bare feet now touch the gravel and sand of the Ironlands. This is no resort. This is a rough and tumble place. The water begins to take above our waist, over our chest, and it's so cold. We can taste the salt in the air. And as we plunge ourselves to swim, we dive. It is a weak hit. Not bad. So what do we get on a weak hit? On a weak hit, your advantage is short-lived. Take +1 momentum. So this isn't bad. This is pretty good. We get +1 momentum for our Wayfinder feat. I keep forgetting it. We're up to +6. So this is good. We're racking up speed. We can use this if push comes to shove. We swim. It is exhausting. We didn't anticipate even this short amount of distance could be this exhausting. The waves have picked up during the evening. The sea is coming in more into the shore, into the mainland. But we managed to reach and cling to the side of Borbrook. Heavily breathing, we're exhausted. And just faintly over the waves, we do hear some sort of speaking. Maybe the guards or the raiders are somewhere around or above, but we can't really tell. Thorgan begins to climb, clinging to the coral and other sea things that have formed around Borbrook. And he climbs just so he can hear, but not be visible from the outpost itself. And he will gather information to see how many people are there, who's where. A strong hit. Very good. On a strong hit, you discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow or action you must take to make progress is made clear. Envision what you learn. Take +2 momentum. We're up to +8. Yes. So I think we cling and we try to make out these voices, and just the perfect time we hear 2 raiders talking about what they will do with the prisoners. What is the thing that they want to do with the prisoner or prisoners? Let's roll on a table. Withdraw. They want to withdraw the prisoners. For what? Could it be information? About what? I think this deserves a major plot twist. An enemy gains new allies. I think they have been going around raiding places, not just to get new servants or wealth, but also trying to gather information, bringing back people, interrogating them to gain information about a powerful weapon, maybe magic. But magic isn't a thing. Thorgan doesn't believe it. Of course, there are mystics. There are some questionable things, but relying on magic to be powerful, that's a bit iffy. But he hears mention of something the raiders want from the prisoners, and they're about to go and interrogate them. I believe this warrants us to mark 2 more progress on finding Bros, because we know where the prisoners are and that they are here. So we're 4 out of 10. I think we need to follow these 2 guards. We're not really good on stealth. Maybe we could take out both of them? Yeah, so time has come for action. Thorgan knows he's growing weak from sticking to these corals, and he can't really be stealthy. He knows his strong suit, and strength and his iron is his strong suit. So he clambers over the side in these ruins. He looks around. It looks kind of like one of the Witcher ruins, but out in sea and more dreadful, like Skellige. And he hides by one of the draperies, by one of the tables where they hold their discarded treasure, which isn't really treasure, it's like waterlogged wood and clothes, maybe some rusted tools. And he follows the two raiders walking towards this small corridor. Maybe it was once a corridor, but now it's kind of collapsed and opened up. But he doesn't see any more raiders around. So he moves in the shadow like Geralt, and he will go in and try to get one of them into a neck hold, and the other he'll try to knock out. So this will be a battle roll using our iron. Okay, so this is a miss, but we have momentum, and it does offer us to burn it for a strong hit, and I think I'll do just that. So we lose our 8 momentum down to 2, but we turn our miss into a strong one, which is you achieve your objective unconditionally and take +2 momentum. So we're up to 4. We walk up, we take one by the neck, the other we kick his leg and push his head down into the side of the ruins and knock him out. Thank God they weren't wearing helmets or really much of armor. We now see they are dressed in fancy clothes. They're not royals of sort, but they are well dressed. They're wearing earrings, just like Thorgan is, but more and shinier. Very eloquent descriptions, I know. Thorgan puts the other arm on the one he's holding on his mouth and starts to struggle him down on the ground. They fall, and after a few seconds, both of the raiders are passed out. Thorgan now sees a small tent at the end of the corridor in a more open square, and he starts moving quickly with his spear on his back, and he sees a few more raiders walking around drinking. But they're off to the side. The tent, it's guarded, but only by one raider. We could take him on, but he's out in the open and it is easily visible. Thorgan starts to think. He does this to his mustache, and as the camera pans away from his face, it kind of refocuses on the two unconscious raiders, and Thorgan looks over his shoulder. And next scene, we see Thorgan dressed in these raiders' clothes with even more earrings and a fancier coat. New boots, still kind of wet, but now at least dressed. He walks out into the square and towards the tent. With intent, rhymes, facing danger. With our deception, which is shadow. This is not gonna go well. Oh my god. Let's go for it. Please, dice. Please, dice. Do not fail us now. It's a strong hit. Oh my god. On a strong hit, you are successful. Take +1 momentum. So we walk, not looking anywhere, like it's our own place, like we're the boss here, and we walk up to the tent, and the other raider goes to stop us, but we just give him the meanest look, and he, maybe in this dark environment, mixes us up with somebody else, maybe an officer, and he looks away, stiffening himself, holding an axe by his side, and we walk into the tent. I will definitely be marking progress for this one. We're now up to 6. But question is Bros here? Let's ask the Oracle. I think it is likely that Bros is here, but he's not. Is this where they keep the prisoners? I think it's likely. Yes, it is. We walk in and we see people gagged, tied to small wooden posts in the ground, and there is about, let's roll a D4. That was not a D4, and it fell on the ground, but this is a D4. There are 4 prisoners tied. Different ages, but more or less everyone around middle-aged. We don't really need to get into detail, but did these seem like fit people, maybe fighters or hunters who are physically fit? Thorgan walks closer, still pretending to be this big meanie, zealous raider, kneels down to one of the prisoners who reels back slowly in fear of what could happen next. I'm not one of them. It's okay. I've come to save my brother. I'll save you in time as well. I just need to know. How does Bros look like? I think he has longer hair. He doesn't have his sides shaved like Thorgan. And he keeps it pretty loose, just slicked back. And Thorgan describes this to one of the prisoners. He removes the band off the mouth. You're not gonna scream, are you? Okay, yeah. Have you seen him? He's my younger brother. I need to save him. This is gathering information. Let's roll. Opportunity. Very good. Okay, luck has turned on us. The prisoner nods and, still stammering. We see his lips cracked. Maybe they haven't been giving him water or food. They just let him out. They were trying... I don't know. I think they led him to interrogation. They usually interrogate us where... And he will tell a name. Let's see. What is the name of the person who interrogates and is most likely very important? Corey is a dangerous, powerful warrior. Okay, we'll run with that. They led him to Corey. They interrogate us usually in front of him. Okay, that's a start. Where is this Corey? He lives in the main tower. And the flaps of the tent slightly open from the wind, and we see the jagged, ruined tower that is not really a tower, more of just like a 2-floor open roof, I don't know, building. And we do see shapes standing over there, like overlooking Boarbrook. Thank you. I will free you shortly. I just need to get my brother safe. Can any of you fight? You look capable. I think this is 50-50. Let the fate decide. Yes, they're capable of fighting. Okay, so I want to secure an advantage and use my charm to, try to persuade them to help me cause a distraction or maybe fight through the guards. We'll use our heart, which is +3. We're really good at that. We're really charming if you haven't noticed, because I have been charming and witty, definitely. Oh my god. They do not agree, and there's a complication. This is really bad for us. Your assumptions betray you. Pay the price. Let's see what it could be. I have an idea. I just want to see what the oracle could tell us. A person or community you care about is exposed to danger. Oh, I know. As we're trying to persuade these hunters or fishers or even fighters to help me, they don't feel comfortable. They think this could be a trap. Maybe the raiders are trying to play mind games with them and see who would betray them on a whim. And they're being neutral, umming, and then before Thorgan can really press for it, we hear a scream, a familiar scream. It's Brus. I just want to say bruh. Bros screaming. And as we head out of the tent, the other guard is also watching with intent at this 2-story tower, and we see a man with a long braid, shaved sides, holding Bros over the edge, barely by the scruff of my younger brother's clothes, and he's ready to drop him. And what the hell his name was? Kyler? Well, I can't remember his name, so we'll call him Cairo. Happens. Let me write it down before I switch it again. We see Cairo with shaved sides, one long braid, both of his arms tattooed with black ink, almost like ocean waves wrapping around his arms, and he's very buff, but also older, and completely covered with iron and golded chains, wearing this breastplate which is very... You don't see iron a lot, especially well crafted or detailed iron, and we're not even talking about armor. And this piece of shit is holding our younger brother by the scruff, ready to drop him. So what do? Cairo is about to drop Brus, and we're on the other side of the square, dressed in a disguise, surrounded by raiders. There's a good dozen of them here. We can't take them all on. And we'll find out next episode. I know, sorry it's a cliffhanger, but I have to do it. I hope you enjoyed the first episode. I really did. Please tell me any feedback if you have it in the comments, and I'll see you on the next episode.